Bryan, Fritz here with Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, also with F4WOnline.com. The day before SummerSlam, the big event of the summer for WWE. The build-up for Brock Lesnar against John Cena has really been something unique that we normally don't see from guys, and it's really made it feel like a really big match, at least to me. Do you feel like this is they've done a good job building up that match?
Really good, yeah. And I think part of it is I think that Cena's interviews have been very different from the usual Cena interview, and he's portrayed Lesnar as very different from everybody else that he's gone against. So now you feel like it's not the same type of match as usual. And of course, Paul Heyman's been at the top of his game, and Brock just has to, Brock just has to be there. The video stuff that they did with him, Brock doesn't have to say a lot, but when he says it, it kind of like resonates real well. So yeah, I think as far as a single match, it was built up better than the first one, and it's been built up better than I would say anything since Cena Rock maybe.
Probably, yeah. And I was going to say, do you think that they've learned anything from this? Because I mean, there's bigger matches that are going to get more attention, but people are always talking about why aren't you making matches seem a little bit bigger than life? I don't think you can do that for every main event of every pay-per-view, but at times you can. And I wonder if they learned something from a situation like this, or from other Brock and Lesnar feuds that they have, to where maybe they can bleed that over a little bit in some other things that they do.
Well, I mean, again, one of the unique things is that Lesnar's not there every week, so every match he does feels more special because of it. So you can't do it necessarily with the Cena. You can only do a dream match when it's never been done before. This has actually been done once, but it was 2 years ago, and it was the nature of a match that you could see it again, and they didn't rush it back. So now it's pretty fresh again. So yeah, the fact that, and originally when they did the first match, they were never going to go back to it. But now they're back to it. It's just how it worked out. Because originally this match was going to be Brock and Daniel Bryan.
Right. And the other thing I think that's going to be very unique too is I think most people believe that Brock Lesnar is going to win the championship.
Yeah.
How do they go forward with using him, considering that he is not on every show, he's not on every pay-per-view, and he would be the champion?
Well, Hulk Hogan. I mean, Hulk Hogan, Hulk Hogan did do interviews on every TV show, or as far as when he was appearing in the local city. So it's not every week, but he did a lot of that. But Hulk Hogan never wrestled on television. Brock Lesnar never wrestled on television. It's a risk, and I can see the arguments for not doing it, and I can see the arguments for doing it. I just hope that whatever decision that they make, which I think is him winning the championship, that they don't instead of like go all the way to Mania, just go. Like in December or something, go, oh my God, we got to change something. What are we going to do? And then think that maybe we got to take it from him in January or something. I hope they go all the way with it. It's a good run. And again, he's not going to go weekly. He doesn't need to go weekly. That's what you got Paul Heyman for.
Yeah.
But if you need him for, say, 1 or 2 more matches, you can make the deal. It's not like it's etched in stone that Brock will only do 3 matches a year. He could do 5 if you make it worth his while. So, and between now and he's going to do September, we already know that. He's going to do January, and he's going to do Mania. That's 3. So if you need, all you're going to need is 2 more.
Right.
You really, I almost think it's better that he doesn't do February and have February to be battling for, an upcoming title shot or something like that.
Yeah, and the other interesting aspect out of all this, too, is what do they do with John Cena going forward? Because, he's 15-time champion. He's been the top guy for so many years. We've already seen him in building up to this match, not being on TV every week, as he's been doing some movies as well. I almost wonder if with Cena, if they could move him into a role where maybe he's not on TV every week and they protect him a little bit more.
You could, but I don't see that happening. I think, he's only not there because he's got other things going on. The question is what do you do with Cena? At this point, I mean, you do have Rusev as a fresh match, so they could go in that direction. Yeah. And I always thought that that's something that they were building up to. Perhaps Reigns, but I would rather go with him and Reigns down the line. Wouldn't do that one earlier. As far as who else, I mean, look, Hogan's pitching for it. And if you look at it, if Hogan's going to work the show, he's not going to work with Austin. I don't believe that's going to happen. Yeah. He could work with Cena, and you could get that, one last Hogan Rock vibe. If you got Sting, Undertaker, Hogan, and John Cena, and Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar as your big 3, and you still got Daniel Bryan and Randy Orton and everybody else, it's the strongest Mania in a while.
Right? Do you still think Undertaker is not retired and he's that guy?
I don't know. I don't know about Undertaker. I mean, the last I heard was more leaning towards that he's not going to wrestle at WrestleMania. But you know, you don't know until December, January how he's going to feel. He's the only one who can make that call.
Yeah, and the other interesting thing too is the health of Daniel Bryan. When does he come back, and where does he fit into the equation once he does come back?
Well, he'll be back for Mania. I mean, he's looking at 3 months from surgery. The question is, he hasn't got the surgery yet, but you know, that's probably going to come within a week or two, I'm guessing. So he'll be back, let's see, we're September. He'll be back for Rumble, most likely. I mean, that which was the target. I mean, the question is, you know, him coming back for Rumble is a very interesting thing because what happens with the fans? I almost wonder if WWE has a certain plan, because like last year they had a plan, and you know, everything went haywire because of CM Punk leaving and because of the reaction to Daniel Bryan. This year, maybe they hold Daniel Bryan off till February, and don't even talk about him, so then the Rumble can go smoothly, so to speak.
Yeah.
You know, because I mean, if the idea is Roman Reigns wins the Rumble, and the fans have decided the same way, and I don't think they will, you know, like they did with Batista, but just let's say that they do, and they just resent resent Roman. Then you've undermined everything that you're working for. So at that point, you know, maybe it's better to just keep Daniel Bryan in the back burner and not have him make, because someone tells, well, wouldn't it be great if he does like a surprise like Jericho or Cena at the Rumble? And I thought, if he wins, wonderful. If he does that and doesn't win, I go, you're asking for trouble, and you don't need that trouble.
Yeah. Last thing, what else? What are your other thoughts about the rest of SummerSlam outside the main event? What do you think about the card and the way that it's been built up so far?
Well, the top 2 matches have been built up real well. It's a solid card. Every match looks good. But I mean, I really see it as. I mean, it's funny because I thought Jericho and Bray Wyatt would be a little bit bigger, but it's fine for its position. Roman Reigns and Randy Orton has been. You know, they let Roman Reigns lay out. Randy Orton lay out Roman Reigns a couple weeks ago with a beating, the nature of which Roman Reigns has never taken. So that was good. And it's incumbent on both of those guys to have the kind of match that makes Roman Reigns look like the next big thing. I mean, if he has a so-so match in this position, you don't want that right now.
Right.
That's really incumbent for him to have a good match. Cena and Lesnar, I think, are going to have a good match no matter what. Stephanie and Brie will be what it is. I'm sure it'll be well laid out. I'm sure they're going to have twists and turns, and it will be, you know, fine for what it is, so to speak. And then if you look at the rest of it, AJ and Paige. I mean, you know, the women can be put in a bad position and given no time, but they have a chance to have a quality match. And, you know, Jericho and Bray will have a good match. What else do we got? What else do we got on the Swagger and
Rusev?
And Rusev, right? The thing with Swagger and Rusev is I don't even know what the freaking stipulations of this match are.
Right.
You know what I mean? I know it's a flag match, and I know what a flag match was, but they can change the rules. They never tipped their hand because I think that I've been told they've changed their mind many times on what that is. But the one thing with if it's a capture the flag match is that Swagger can win to set up another match. Where if it's a pinfall or submission type match, I would not beat Rusev. I don't think it's a good idea, but I do think that like on a SummerSlam, Swagger waving the flag with kind of a fluke ending and everything, I don't think that's a bad idea. Yeah. But you got to keep Rusev strong because Rusev, I think, has big matches with Cena and with Roman Reigns coming up that he's got to be ready to be a main eventer for.
Should be a very interesting SummerSlam. Thanks for the time, Dave. Always appreciate it.
Okay. Great, Brian.